How you doing? My name is Gary St. Fleur. I run Save Scranton. I'm also running for mayor of Scranton, if you can believe it. Today I'm going to talk to you about my recent activities for campaigning. I was going around the city talking about local concerns that the Scrantonian people have. And one of the things that struck me was the seeming disconnect that certain pockets and groups of Scranton have. What I mean by this is in Southside, there's a large Latino community that seems to be separate from the downtown area, which is also separate from the West Side area, the North Side, etc. And I think that sort of separateness is at is some of the issues that's at work at Scranton. What I mean by this is the fact that people in Scranton feel disconnected in certain ways, like they don't feel like they're a part of the whole that makes up the city. It weighs down on them. This is what I've been hearing. My perspective is that Scranton is basically unified in the sense that there's only really two factions in the city. There's the government haves and the Scrantonian have-nots, the people who are not affiliated or connected due to nepotism. The government of Scranton has become such a giant institution that it's basically swallowed the private sector. There's no private sector to compete against the government. So everyone in Scranton is worried about upsetting the government because they don't want their family members to lose their jobs, or they don't want to lose their jobs, or they don't want to lose business that they receive from the government. Now, of course, we have to ask ourselves, where does the government get its money from? It's going to get its money from the taxpayers. Now, if taxpayers don't have any money because there aren't any jobs, the city is basically going to be more depressed than it already is. For a quarter of a century, Scranton has been in distress status. They have sold every public asset that they owned, raised taxes on the Scranton people, and as far as I'm concerned, nothing is going to get better. I hear all these claims from the Scranton government about how they're going to leave the stress status someday. But my question is that, how are you going to do this when Wells Fargo just had a recent report that stated Scranton owes $500 million? 38% of the Scranton population is on fixed income, which are slated to either move out or dearly depart in the next 20 years. Who's going to pay off this $500 million? Who's going to pay off the pension obligations that are going to be needed going forward? We need to confront realities. The fact of the matter is, Scranton is out of money, it's out of time, and we need to make tough decisions. And this is also why, and more importantly, why I'm running for mayor of Scranton. I'm a straight shooter. I don't want to play these political games where the nepotism or the malfeasance or the quid pro quo rules the day. We should rule or guide and lead honestly based on facts and figures. Very soon, I'm going to produce a press release that explains the exact debt figure of the Scranton city, or the people of Scranton, what they will be paying back if nothing is done. What the picture basically presents is a situation where there is no way the Scranton government can avoid bankruptcy. So now the question is, it's a matter of bankruptcy now or bankruptcy later. Now, of course, people would say, what's the benefit of bankrupting now? Well, I would argue that if you bankrupt later, we have the high taxes, declining property values, declining equity in homes, and more joblessness just to go bankrupt later. Might as well do it now, have a light in the end of the tunnel, solve our fiscal situations so we can be in stronger footing for the future. That way we can lower taxes. Then that would attract businesses and keep the population that's here. We can retain them. They can fix up their houses, which would increase property values. Property taxes are lower. People will have more disposable income to improve their housing. This is the key to the success of Scranton, and something that I'm very adamant about and look forward to campaigning on. Fundamentally, my campaign is bankruptcy, not as a bad thing, but as a recovery plan, as having a fresh start to move forward for a new and improved Scranton. Thank you for listening. God bless. And I look forward to meeting you in the campaign trail. Goodbye.